Have you ever noticed how one small moment can ruin your entire day? Someone cuts you off in traffic, a stranger gives you a rude look, your phone slips out of your hand, or someone says just one sentence, and suddenly you explode, not just annoyed, not just frustrated, but truly angry. Your heart starts pounding, your breathing gets heavier, your mind fills with words you'll probably regret later. Then a few hours pass. Everything becomes quiet again, and you ask yourself, what just happened to me? Why do I always react like this? Maybe the problem didn't start today. Maybe you've been carrying something much heavier for years. This is the story of Daniel, and before you think it's just another story, listen carefully, because somewhere in this story, you might find yourself. Daniel wasn't born an angry person. As a child, he smiled all the time. He laughed over the smallest things. He believed people were kind. He believed dreams always came true if you worked hard enough. Life felt simple. Life felt safe. But life has a way of changing people, little by little. Without warning, every night, Daniel would hear his parents arguing behind a closed door. Sometimes he covered his ears with a pillow. Sometimes he cried himself to sleep, but no one noticed. At school, things didn't get any better. He was quiet, shy, different, and kids can be cruel to anyone who looks different. They laughed at him, made jokes about him, ignored him. Every single day, Daniel never fought back. He just stayed silent. He thought, if I keep everything inside, maybe one day it'll stop hurting. But pain doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It waits, it grows, it becomes heavier. Years went by. Daniel became an adult. He got a job, made new friends, started relationships. From the outside, everything looked normal. But inside, nothing had changed. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every broken promise, every failure, he buried them deep inside his heart. He never talked about them. He never asked for help. He kept telling himself, I'm fine. But he wasn't, not even close. One day, a co-worker made a harmless joke. Everyone laughed. It wasn't even meant to hurt him. But Daniel suddenly exploded. He yelled. He slammed the table. Then he walked away. The room fell silent. Nobody understood why he reacted that way. Not even Daniel himself. From that day on, something changed. Daniel became the guy everyone tried to avoid. His friends started inviting him less. His co-workers only spoke to him when they had to. Relationships never lasted. Every argument ended the same way. Anger, regret, silence. Daniel kept asking himself, why does this keep happening? I don't want to be this person. But no matter how hard he tried, the anger always came back. Sometimes over the smallest things, someone taking too long to reply, a mistake at work, a stranger looking at him the wrong way. His reactions were always bigger than the situation, because the situation was never the real reason. Most people think anger is the problem, but anger is only the smoke. The real fire burns much deeper. Fear, disappointment, loneliness, shame, the feeling of never being enough. Think about a volcano. For years, everything looks calm. Nothing happens. People believe it's safe. But deep underground, pressure keeps building, little by little, day after day. Then one day, a tiny crack appears, and suddenly, everything explodes. People blame the explosion, but the explosion wasn't created that day. It had been building for years. Human emotions work the same way. Every painful memory, every broken promise, every insult, every rejection, every moment you forced yourself to say, I'm okay, becomes another layer of pressure inside your heart. Eventually, one small problem becomes the final trigger. Not because it's big, but because you're already carrying too much. Daniel didn't realize it. He thought he was angry at people. But the truth was, he was exhausted. He was carrying years of pain that no one had ever seen. And the heaviest burden wasn't what others had done to him. It was what he kept saying to himself. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. No one really cares. Those words became his prison. Every single day, without realizing it, he was fighting a battle inside his own mind, and no one around him knew, because sometimes the loudest screams are the ones nobody can hear. One evening, after another long day filled with frustration, Daniel decided to go for a walk. He didn't have a destination. He just wanted to get away from everything. The noise, the pressure, the endless thoughts inside his head. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the trees, he noticed an old man sitting alone on a wooden bench. The man looked peaceful, not because life had been easy, but because he carried himself differently. Daniel couldn't explain it. There was something about him that felt safe. Without thinking too much, Daniel sat down beside him. For a few minutes, neither of them said a word. Then Daniel finally broke the silence. "I don't understand myself anymore. I'm always angry. I keep hurting people I care about. And I don't know how to stop." The old man looked at him and smiled. Not the kind of smile that judges you, the kind that tells you, "I've been there too." Then he asked a simple question. "When was the last time you forgave yourself?" Daniel froze. He searched for an answer, but nothing came. Because the truth was, he never had. He blamed himself for every mistake, every failure, every opportunity he missed, every relationship that fell apart. He kept replaying old memories in his mind, as if punishing himself would somehow change the past. The old man nodded. Then he quietly said, "The greatest prison isn't built with steel, it's built with guilt. You think you're angry at the world, but most of the time, you're angry at the version of yourself that couldn't change what happened." Daniel looked down. For the first time in years, he felt tears filling his eyes, not because he was weak, but because someone had finally understood him. The old man continued, "Pain that isn't healed will always find another way to speak. Sometimes it speaks through anger, sometimes through fear, sometimes through anxiety, but it always wants to be heard. You can't heal by pretending you're okay. You heal the moment you become honest with yourself." Those words stayed with Daniel. Long after the conversation ended, long after the old man walked away, for the first time in years, Daniel stopped asking, "Why am I so angry?" Instead, he asked a different question. What part of me is still hurting? And that question changed everything. The next morning, nothing around Daniel had changed. He still had the same job, the same responsibilities, the same people, the same problems, but something inside him was different. For the first time, he stopped trying to control the world. Instead, he started learning to control himself. Every time anger appeared, he didn't react immediately. He paused, he took a deep breath, and he asked himself one simple question. What am I really feeling right now? Sometimes, the answer wasn't anger, it was disappointment. Sometimes, it was fear. Sometimes, it was loneliness. And sometimes, he realized, he was simply exhausted. The more honest he became with himself, the less power his anger had over him. Healing didn't happen overnight. There were still bad days. There were still moments when he wanted to explode. But now, he understood something most people never do. You are not your emotions. You are the one who chooses what to do with them. Little by little, his life began to change. His relationships became stronger. His mind became quieter. His heart became lighter. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because he finally stopped fighting himself. The truth is, every single one of us carries invisible battles. Some people hide them behind a smile. Some hide them behind silence. And some hide them behind anger. That's why kindness matters. Because you never truly know what someone else is carrying. But there's one person who deserves your kindness the most. Yourself. Stop punishing yourself for the mistakes you made years ago. Stop replaying moments you can no longer change. The past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Real strength isn't about never getting angry. Real strength is choosing peace. When anger feels easier, it's choosing patience. When frustration takes over, it's choosing forgiveness, even when your pride tells you not to. Because every time you choose peace, you become stronger than the person you were yesterday. So, the next time you feel anger rising inside you, don't ask, "Who made me angry?" Ask yourself, even your life, remember this. Your emotions are real, but they don't have to control your future. No matter what you've been through, no matter how many times you've failed, no matter how broken you feel today, you can still become the person you were always meant to be. Not by changing the world around you, but by changing the way you respond to it. Because peace doesn't begin when life becomes perfect. Peace begins the moment you decide that your past will no longer control your future. Thank you for listening. And if this story found you at the right moment, don't keep it to yourself.